Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Karina. I'm an English teacher traveling abroad. Right now I'm in France and I'm giving you tips on how to teach English and some travel experiences. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that you need to consider when teaching advanced students. So get your pen, your notebook, get real comfortable and let's get to class. Oh, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment if you want to know more about me and anything that you see in this video. Let's get started though. The first thing that I would say is really important when teaching advanced students. So first of all, advanced meaning they are really high level B2, so B2 plus, so C1, and going towards C2, which would make them just about fluent, right? So when teaching this group, it's really important to have authentic material. Authentic material meaning things that we native speakers would use in our daily lives or we would interact with. So something that has really natural speech. And this is important because it's going to expose them to lots of different accents, cultural references, idiom, expressions, even things that you wouldn't think about teaching, right? But in interacting with this material, which can be a video or a podcast or sometimes an article from a really interesting website, this gives them the opportunity to really live life as a native speaker would. The second thing that I would keep in mind when working with advanced students is pragmatics and discourse, meaning the practicality of the language. How exactly is it used in real life, and in conversation, what might be some of the subtleties that could mean that make the difference between something positive, something negative. In English we use lots of things like phrasal verbs, expressions, idioms, that kind of blur the lines of clarity for non-native speakers, even if they are advanced, because advanced speakers, they often know a lot of grammar. They can really create a sentence and a phrase within structured situations. But outside of that, it can be quite difficult for them to understand some of the phrasal verbs that we use, or some of the expressions that we use, or some of the slang. In today's world, English slang, it's growing and developing so quickly. From week to week, there's something new and different to include in our language. So this is something for non-native speakers really interesting to learn, especially for advanced students. This gives them another view to the language besides the standard grammar and the standard situations of going to have a coffee, travel, at work, that kind of thing. It's something out of the box for them to experience. In addition to all of that, with the discourse, humor and those funny moments. I think that's also a bit difficult to navigate as a non-native speaker. Hey, as a native speaker, it's also difficult, right, to catch on to someone's humor. But as a non-native speaker, it can be really difficult to catch jokes, because jokes are very dependent on context, maybe the culture, even two individuals, right? So all of these things make it for a really interesting lesson. Finding some humorous videos online, even something you yourself as a teacher can share a story of something you've experienced, and this gives them that extra insight and helps to develop their overall understanding of English outside of the grammar, the syntax, and the things that they've learned in the classroom. The third thing to consider for advanced learners are debates and complex discussions. So this in the classroom is amazing because first, critical thinking skills. Yes, that's not entirely the purpose of an English tutor or an English coach, but if they can manage to master critical thinking skills in English and then to translate that or to transmit that through their speech, that is huge. Because imagine having to argue something in a foreign language. That can be quite difficult, even if you're skilled in all the other areas. In an argument, there's lots of emotions, heated emotions, right, that come up. So that's why it can cloud your language abilities, right? So creating that environment of a debate in the classroom makes it easier, help them to develop that skill of keeping their second language, which is English, right, at an advanced level with their emotions happening, yeah, so they can then still maintain clarity, great speech, thinking at the same time, expressing their emotions clearly. So this is really a skill for advanced speakers that can take years to develop. Years. Giving them this opportunity makes you a really special teacher for them. So the fourth thing to keep in mind, to do, to implement in your classroom is a mistake, how would I say that? A mistake happy zone. So meaning that you encourage mistakes and you keep the space really open for them to make those mistakes. So that would mean kind of creating or giving some trick situations. So it's not really a trick situation, but something unexpected for them, and they might be stumped, or they might think about, oh, but how do I say this? Or I don't know how to say this in English, right? And for this, often I don't tell them directly, oh, but you say this. I said, how do you think you can say it? Well, go ahead, you can try and I'll correct you. Yeah, I'll be here. So this gives them the opportunity to try it out, to play with the language, use it, make the mistake in a safe space where there's no judgment, and if they need it, they get corrected. And to be honest, a lot of the time, they are really close. Sometimes they get it spot on to the correct grammar or the correct expression. So don't underestimate them. Give them the benefit of the doubt, motivate them, encourage them to make those mistakes, create the situations where there might be a new language point for them to use, or an underdeveloped, area of their grammar or their comprehension. And yes, give them that chance to make the mistake and improve. The fifth thing that is quite fun in the classroom for advanced learners is a project. And this doesn't have to be a project that takes them months on end to complete. It's something that can take them a couple of days, or at least until your next session with them. Maybe it is to work with another student on something, or maybe to research a particular topic. But the idea is that they do everything involved in this little project in English. So this is kind of situational based or context based learning, right? So it means that they would now have to, instead of using Google in, let's say, French, for example, they would now have to use Google in English. They type their prompts into Google in English as well. They read all of the different results in English, go to the website, you get it, right? You get the point. So the idea is for them to do every part of this in English. And in the end, it helps them to, again, experience their world in this new language or in this second language, right? So this is a really invaluable skill that you're teaching them, or opening up their eyes to. For a lot of my learners, once they are intermediate level, something that's pretty easy to have them to do is to change the language of their phone. Some of them are really reluctant at the beginning, of course, for obvious reasons, but once they do change over, it's a really small change that they've made, but in fact, at the beginning, it's going to be a bit difficult, but in fact, it's going to help them with so much vocabulary, so much sort of subliminal clues and hints about the language that they would be so grateful to you for it. So this is something I really love. It's even fun for me as well to hear their feedback and what they did during this little project. So it's a win-win for both sides. All right, there you have it. Those are my 5 tips for teaching advanced students, and these are things that I use in my classroom to this day and have given me a lot of success as a teacher and as a coach, a mentor with my students. So these things are really fun to incorporate in your classroom. So if you found this video helpful or useful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, leave a comment. I'm sure there's something you want me to talk about or something I could improve as well. So let me know in the comments, and share this with another teacher or another friend, anyone who would like to know this information. So thanks a lot for watching, and I will see you in my next video.